Hey guys, it's Matt. It is Sunday, December 20th. Just going to do a recap for last week. Unfortunately, I don't have screenshots of my trades on Friday, but I've got for the rest of the week. So I'm just going to be looking through my journal here on my other screen and going through these trades real quick here for you. Mostly for me, actually, but for you as well if you can learn something from it. So um, it was looking kind of slow, and then on the gappers, none of them were easy to borrow for me. And then somebody called out ARVN. I don't remember where I found it, but a little higher price than I usually trade. Right, I don't normally get above 20 bucks, 25s. But it was. I liked the way it was trading. It had some nice, really easy pre-market pivots there, and so it popped up, and I took a small trade on it. So it was only 10 shares or so, but it had some range. So that's all I needed for my account at this point. You can see I covered down here, and then it kind of popped back up, same level. I thought about a rehit there, but didn't quite do it because I wasn't sure if it was going to rip up maybe pre-market high or even just take off on me. So I was like, nah, I'm good with just covering here, holding, recycling if it has to go higher or stopping out the rest. And then you can see it rolled over, and I got a fill here and then got a fill here later in the day. Um, this is the one I think. Yeah, I had set a stop order for 63, and it literally hit my stop order to the penny. And because I had walked away, forget if I took my dog for a walk or something, but I was like, oh, if it hits 63, I think it'll probably be climbing back, and so it hit me to the penny there and stopped me out before rolling over and making you know this new low here by about almost 10 points. So that was a little annoying, but oh well. BTWN. So this one was another, had a pretty decent pre-market level here. Another one up here. I think this was maybe, I don't know if I drew this pivot because of this area or if it was a daily pivot, but this more in the price range that I'm used to, around the $14, $15 range here. So pops up to this pivot, got short and covered on the way down. So then I added back thinking, okay, this thing's going to keep fading. And really, I gotta watch the clock more. Around that 9:45, 10 o'clock area. Um, it's when most things are like, okay, they're done with the big move, and even if it fades more, it's gonna fade slowly. Uh, and so adding back here is probably. I think most of the time I end up just getting myself in trouble. So anyway, I added here and then got in a little trouble at grind. It was grinding back on me. Added again here. Added, stopped out, re-added up here, which is all decent management, but just I shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. And then I took some off here, and then as it grinded back a little more here, grinded back, as it was grinding back. Here, we'll do that. That way, grammatically, I got out of that one. I stopped out my last bit here. So anyway, I kind of get a little aggressive here, a little greedy, I guess, and I get stuck in these grinders then. And actually, I'm going to read this right from my journal, and I was like, this is like drying paint around 1350. And I would give my left nut to have just covered at the bottom and walked away. I gotta stop doing this to myself. So, I was talking about like I should have just taken it off here and just walked, just go home or wherever. Um, but anyway, it still ended up being a pretty decent winner. I was up 50 something at the end of the day. So again, for my account, that's not bad. I'd like to be adding more size, but for some reason I'm still just not trusting these setups, even though they're working really well. So I've got to continue to work on that. Wednesday I traded SIOX, and I kind of botched it, so I ended up basically breaking even on this one. I didn't really like the levels we had here pre-market. I mean, there was a nice defined one up here, but in the middle here there wasn't really much, and So I took a stab here. Oh, sorry, I took my initial short here, thinking that this level here that I had drawn, and it did react to it to some degree, maybe a little higher than I thought, but I took that short and then it kind of went back on me and I got short again here, which was probably a little early. Did have this pivot drawn. Anyway, covered a little bit here and then when it grinded back here, here's what I was thinking. We had this nice defined level, pre-market level up here at 425, right? And I was thinking, okay, I'm going to stop out a little bit here in the 410, 415 area, and then I'll add some more size at 425 because I think that's where it's going to turn around. It never got there. And, when I did this, this was my plan, right? To stop out here, re-add up here. That's the plan. But I was watching the tape here thinking, this looks weak, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to make it to 425. And I was right. So this is one of those times where, following the tape read versus following the plan would have worked out. But I think in general, like over time, following the plan is probably a better idea because sometimes you think you have a good read on the tape and it turns out you don't. Or it turns out that you were reading the tape right, but somebody was fucking with you and all of a sudden they rip your face off, right? So we're actually going to see that in a second. Not that I got my face ripped off, but that I almost would have. So anyway, a little bummed that I stopped out up there since had I been still holding my position when this fade happened, I would have been much more profitable. But I ended up just covering down here because I was basically at break even and I wanted to get the hell out of here. I mean, it was almost 11 o'clock and, I had other stuff to do that day. So, all right, Thursday. 2 trades. I took a loss here on VVOS, went short, covered a little bit, and then this halted on the way up here. And basically, this is another, reading the tape up here, I was like, oh, this might drop. But I just didn't have the conviction in it. We're above pre-market high, so I'm thinking, this might drop, but it might also rip. I didn't have the conviction to add again up here, and so this was the area that I initially wanted to stop out at before it ripped through here and stopped and halted up here. So once it got back down to this level, I just stopped out my position because that was what I wanted to do on this green candle here, but it skipped me over it. I didn't get the order in time. And so then you can see though that it faded. It would have ended up being a winner probably, but it was a small loss. And then late in the day, YGMZ, this thing kind of was halting like crazy here. You can see the bars. And then I was looking at this thing short because it was easy to borrow, which made me a little nervous because I was like, there's a reason this thing's easy to borrow. Somebody wants to trap shorts and rip their faces off. But I was thinking about doing it here, this first pop to the 18s area. I didn't pull the trigger, but that's okay because it pulled back, gave a nice long play here, a little bounce off the 9 moving average and this prior halt level. You can see it bounced right there. So I got long here, just a couple of shares, and took it for a ride up here. Got a pretty good exit up here. Pretty nice top tick there, So anyway, ended up the day slightly profitable. Nothing to write home about. Now Friday's trades I don't have screenshots of, unfortunately. I just kind of closed down my computer and walked away. So let's we'll take a look at these just with trader views charts. Will be good enough. We don't have all the pre-market pivots drawn, but basically got short here in the 340 area, and then you can see I covered on the way down here. So it was a pretty easy pop and drop trade. Yeah, I think I hesitated on an ad up there at the top because there was a $4 pre-market high. So I didn't want to add it 355, and that's where it turned around. But that's okay. It was a pretty good winner. And then I also traded. Just get out of there. Open both these. All right, so I traded Tesla. You can see here, this is just a little scalp. I got long off this bounce area and didn't really hold it for long. I didn't like the way the tape was reading. You can see the bounce wasn't very forceful. But yeah, anyway, I took a few bucks from Tesla there, so I was happy about that. It was actually a pretty good read. And then CURO, to be honest, I don't really remember this one. Yo, this was like a paint drying extraordinaire, I think. Oh, right. This is the one I mentioned earlier, actually, when I said that they're going to trap shorts and rip faces off. So CURO, it was establishing this level here around 16 that it kept rejecting. And I was like, all right, I'll get short here, and it popped up back above it up to 1650 there for a little bit, and then it's kind of meandering sideways, and I'm just looking at it going, I don't like the way it's supporting these. It was like a 1530 level here, and then they kind of kept refreshing bids, and I was like, I'm just gonna cover this. Like, it might fade, but it might rip. It was kind of 50-50. At this point, I was like, there's no clear indication of where this thing's going to go, which means I don't want to be in here anymore. I didn't get the move that I thought I was going to get out of it, and so I covered here, which you can see is a pretty good cover. And then I think I continued to watch it for a little bit, but didn't take any trades on it. But anyway, it was a good week. So let's look at. So that's what my curve looks like for the week. You can see my 52-cent day or whatever this is here on the. I can't even get my cursor on there to get the little pop-up. So, but if you look at the weekend numbers, I was 7 for 8 on trades, and there was my P&L for the week, and that works, right? Average winner was 30, average loser was 4. So this was, I mean, statistically, this is a really good week. And then let's look at the month so far. So I'm shooting like 75% there, and my average winners are bigger than my average losers. That's profitability. So almost 500 bucks for the month, which isn't bad. Again, I really need to work on sizing up, and because the story is, since the beginning of September at least, I'm profitable. Let's see if we can just see a P&L curve. Will it go back far enough? Yeah, there you go. Right? I mean, I took this big, that's the big loss I took there on whatever trade that was. Was that Kodak maybe? I forget. The beginning of October there. But, I mean, it's not the prettiest curve in the world, but it'll do, right? And definitely here from like mid-November. Looking good. So, anyway, yeah, I just got to really work on sizing up, because at this point, that's looking like it's supposed to. Let's see. Will it give us? I don't think it'll give us. Oh yeah, there we go. It was September where I really started to find my groove. Kind of. August was pretty choppy. Anyway, yeah, I'm happy. Any questions or anything? Let me know. And then next at the end of next week we'll look. Next week or the week after? Week after next. We'll look at the do the monthly recap and all that. But headed for a good month. Let's hope I can keep it up. All right. Adios.